Doctor España, welcome to Neuro-Universe. I'm so happy to be with you today. Today is my first interview in English for ASPIKA. I'm a little nervous, but I think we're going to do it well. I've heard marvelous things about you and your career, Doc. Welcome.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this space. And don't worry, we'll make it happen in English.
Doctor, I've heard many things and I read many things about you that you're in Houston. And something that caught my attention was seeing that you have worked with a major clinic or hospital. I will not say the name. Something that it probably is a dream for any doctor or any student. And that after years of working in this company, you decided that you needed to go another way and help kids. Somehow you were needing to make a difference. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Yes, I worked my first, I would say, 10 years of my career in two major hospitals in the Houston area. In the traditional, medical system, right? Big hospitals, big clinics. In my opinion, I was very tired because I was seeing 30 to 40 patients a day. And I felt like as a pediatrician, I wanted to spend more time with the families, make sure that it wasn't just, is your kid breathing, or just sending him somewhere else and spend 10 minutes with them, but really have time to discuss why are things happening? What's going on in the house? I think old medicine used to be. I tell everybody I feel like I know the entire family, the grandma, the dog, everything has to come into consideration when we're treating children. And especially, I know that in this podcast, we talk about neurodivergent kids. And especially in that type of situation, it's very important that we're looking at the holistic child and it's not just a 10-minute conversation. So yes, I opened up my own practice. It's been 11 years now. 11 years ago, in Houston, it's a very, what we called in medicine, a micro practice. It's very small, but I take more time to really discuss with families about, what's going on and guide parents through the difficult time of raising a child.
It is something important that people don't understand. You just said something really that caught my attention is the old medicine, the way they used to make it. I remember when I was a kid, we used to live in a place called Milagros. It was a place in South America, small little town. And the town doctor knew everybody and knew the family. And you said even the dog, because you need to know the family in order to know what's going on with that patient. Because you need to know how the parents are. You need to know if there's any cats or any dogs in the house. That's very important. I think that medicine somehow nowadays it's just like going in, you have insurance, okay, pay, bye, you're gone, next. And that way of treating patients, I think it's very important and that's what caught my attention. Like she left a big hospital to go in her own practice. Tell me a little bit about your patients. Tell me about your patients with neurodiverse patients, probably autism, ADHD. What do you find nowadays? Is it more common? Is it what they say that every time it increases the amount of patients with autism?
Yes, I definitely think that, in the last 10 years, I have seen an increase in diagnosis, or actually, let's not even say diagnosis. I've seen an increase also in just parents worrying about symptoms and children presenting with symptoms of ADHD or symptoms of possible autism. We also do developmental screenings and diagnosis here in the clinic to try to take some time and do it the right way. But I think it's not just that we're overdiagnosing it. It's not just one thing. I know that we can sit here probably for 10 hours. It's a very controversial topic to discuss of why are we seeing more children diagnosed with autism and ADHD nowadays. But I think it's a combination of several things. And in my opinion, the most important thing is nutrition. I think we have forgotten, especially here in the United States, um, there is just a lot of malnourished kids. I mean, we think of malnutrition maybe of kids that are not eating and kids that are very skinny and kids that, you think of that word. But in my opinion, malnutrition is kids that are not actually getting the nutrients and the things, or they might be getting a lot more toxins that their body really can't react. And so I think we need to spend more time educating in that realm. And I have seen a lot of kids that once you really work with them and you get those toxins out of their system, you work with having a whole nutrition of having, natural things, fruits, vegetables, stay away from all these processed things, that by itself does tremendous amount of change in these kids that are diagnosed with ADHD or autism. And then we can go back and really revisit to see how are they doing and what is the real diagnosis for them.
Yeah, because a lot of things are not only autism or ADHD. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of kids that are not developing. They cannot speak, early, and like they're supposed to. And a lot has to do with the food, the diet. I see uh, in different countries, you'll find the problem even higher and higher. Like let's say in the States, I see a lot of processed food. It's incredible what they eat. You see a lot of things in bags or in cans or with a lot of oil. And people are wondering, why doesn't my kid speak? He probably has something, and sometimes it starts with the food. You said something very important um, about the nutrients. The soil, I don't know if you agree with this, the soil nowadays doesn't have the nutrients they used to have before. So the fruits, that apple, that carrot that we eat today, is not the same carrot 20 years ago. That
Absolutely. That is the same.
probiotics was before, now it's like part of your diet, probiotics too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think my parents never even thought or heard of probiotics per se, like it wasn't necessarily needed. But I think nowadays, because our food is so processed, is so changed, because it's this idea, mentality of just, economics and just growing as quickly as we can, that we are missing some of those nutrients. And that also, because of the way medicine has been that we talked about, and it's just a quick fix, we are overusing antibiotics as well from a very young age. And so I see it nowadays. I tell my parents, I absolutely do not want anyone to step into an urgent care. If you step into an urgent care, that doctor, or most likely a nurse practitioner, it's what's dealing with urgent cares, don't know you. They look at you and they know they're not going to see you probably again. So half of the time, you might not necessarily need an antibiotic, but it's prescribed anyway, just in case. And that's what they usually say, just in case. But you don't realize that what damage that's doing to your gut. And so, yes, we are, messing up with kids' guts from a very, very young age. And that definitely has some ramifications as they're getting older, which is where this whole thing of probiotics and prebiotics have come upon.
Yeah, and it's incredible. You see it all over the world, and nowadays a lot of people are seeing changes. I it happened to me in my house. We changed everything that my kid was eating. He was diagnosed with autism, nonverbal, aggressive, and certainly he started changing, and it was because of food. He still has a lot of he's very hyperactive, but you see changes in the food. It's incredible how these kids connect again after you cut a lot of stuff out of their diets that they're not supposed to eat, and it's just like it's a new kid.
Absolutely. I tell everybody that and it's hard. So that's what's the problem is. I think we live in a microwave society, that's what I call it, where people want change immediately and people want things to be easy. And unfortunately, parenting is not easy. Parenting is hard. It takes a lot of patience. And with these kiddos, it's even harder a lot of times. So we have to one of the things that I talk to parents when a kid is diagnosed, and I think that you are very much, I've heard you speak as well, is that the parents need to educate themselves. The parents need to learn how they're processing this in order to be able to help their children. And so, and one of the things that you need to do is to start working with someone that it knows about nutrition in these kids and know from the very beginning that it's going to take time, that it's not going to be overnight, and that it's not going to be easy. So once you sort of accept that and you're willing to kind of work with it, then you're going to start seeing the changes. In general, for those of you that are, listening that might not have a nutritionist on board or might not have accessibility right away, three easy things that I say that you can start with and everybody can start. Number one is milk products. Most of these kids, milk causes a lot of inflammation. And when you eliminate milk products, they start noticing a difference. Two, sugar. All added sugar. So really start reading the labels and really kind of minimize it, or even better, get rid of it, which I know it's hard, but get rid of it altogether. And three, processed foods, like you said. If it comes in a bag, if it comes in a box, that was made at some, place that's somewhere, it's not real food, and your body cannot digest it. And these kids particularly have a harder time digesting those types of foods.
No, and everything changes, and I think when you change that way of thinking, now another thing that's very important that I notice and that nobody regulates is that, okay, I know that my kid needs a non-gluten diet or gluten-free diet. So a lot of parents, and I include myself, when I heard that my kid shouldn't use gluten, sugar, or milk, I started looking for products that would say gluten free, and I would buy a lot of products and take it to Ecuador. That's time we were living in Ecuador. I would take bags full of products that say gluten free. But I didn't know that if you start reading the ingredients, there's a lot of things there that are really bad for the kids. There's vegetable oil, palm oil, lecithin, and a bunch of stuff. So you think you're giving your kids something that's right for them, and you're absolutely wrong. And nobody, that's something that, Lee, I think you have to read your labels no matter what. That's the main thing. And a lot of people think that it's so expensive to eat clean. It's not. I mean, you want almond milk, you grab some almonds, some water, you blend them, and you'll have almond milk, and like that with a bunch of stuff. It's just more work. Yes, it is. But in the end, if you want your kids to be good, you need to work about it. It's not going to happen. I think a lot of parents think that you're going to bring your autistic or neurodiverse kid through a house. It's going to walk through the door neurodiverse, and it's going to come out the window fine, neurotypical. It doesn't work like that. Everybody wants the miracle pill. Now there is technology though, and there's a lot of things going on in technology, and that's why I wanted to speak with you, because when I heard what you were doing and I saw your social media, I said I need to talk to the doc, because I know there's a lot of things going on with phototherapy nowadays, and to understand that the world is changing is necessary, because before we had the old Nokia phone, and now we have the last iPhone or the last Samsungs. So and we have drones, we have cars that fly, we have a bunch of stuff, and there's technology going on that helps our kids. Tell me a little bit about that patch that I see you wearing, and I see on your social media, and a bunch of people that follow you have that patch. What is it called? What is it about? How does it work? What is it for?
I first want to go back and explain to you what phototherapy is and technology per se, because I think it's very important and some people maybe have not heard of it. So we talked about nutrition and food, and I definitely think that is the number one thing that everybody should start, because you can start doing that at home no matter what. Like I said, if you have a nutritionist, that's great. If not, if you at least do those three things, your child will start to get better. But after that, I think there's been a lot of research of what things, alternative medicine type of things that we can implement into, with medicine. And one of those things is light therapy. So light therapy has been around for ages, right? I mean, if you go back to the Greeks, to the Egyptians, they use light therapy as medicine. I particularly, as a pediatrician, have always used light therapy when kids have jaundice. They're born, they might be a little bit yellow. You put him underneath this light, but he has to be a specific light. So what happens is our whole body has photoreceptors. That means receptors that absorb light. And depending on what frequency of light enters your body, light is actually information for our cells to do something. So we've always heard of the sun producing vitamin D. Well, the sun doesn't inject vitamin D into your body. The sun doesn't have vitamin D. The sun is a specific frequency, a specific wavelength of light that penetrates our skin through those receptors and that kind of, for lack of a better word, sends a text message, sends a informational message to our cells. So our body starts producing its own vitamin D. When I put babies underneath that blue phototherapy light, same thing. That specific wavelength of light tells the baby cells to change a molecule called bilirubin to a different form, so the babies are able to get rid of it through the urine, through their stool. So light is information. Our body and our cells work by talking to each other via hormones, via peptides. I know peptides now are like a thing all over social media, and people are talking about injecting peptides into themselves. Well, this technology is similar to that. It is, I call it wearable phototherapy. Throughout the years, like I said, we've used light therapy, and now there's amazing laser therapy that a lot of neurologists are using on kids that are neurodiverse. In my opinion, the only problem is that there's not that many people that are trained to do those. And so this therapy tends to be very, very expensive. It works. I've seen amazing things of just shining a particular wavelength of light of a laser into your brain, and different therapies can really, really help. It changes, especially on kids, their brain, it's kind of malleable as they're young. And it's been proven that light therapy and laser therapy can actually help change and help these kids for the better, and also detoxify the body. I came upon this technology, and I'll show it to you. I have it on. I'll take it off so I can see. It is, like you said, a patch. It looks like a sticker. Okay. It looks
That
so
looks like Iron
insignificant.
Man, like the Iron Man powers.
It looks like a sticker. It looks like a Band-Aid. So when someone called me 3 years ago and I put it right back on and told me about this technology, I said, it's impossible. It's impossible that this Band-Aid, it's going to do something. Because if you show me a laser and you tell me and you show me the studies, it's easier for my brain to understand. Okay, there's a laser going through. I can see the light. I understand. This is an amazing technology that was created 21 years ago. All right, so it's been around for a
Wow.
while. It's a company called LifeWave. The founder and the CEO is Dr. David Smith. He is a genius. He originally was working actually with Navy SEALs. So this was actually a military product that was created just to give them more energy. These high performance military Navy SEALs had to be awake for 30 hours. And so they asked this doctor if he can actually come up with an invention that would give them more energy in a natural way without having to ingest amphetamines and more caffeine. And so he came up with the first prototype of patches that were called energy enhancers. And all that it does is that it gave more energy to your mitochondria, which is kind of like the battery of your cells. So you felt like you drank an energy drink, but without all the side effects, and they were able to perform better. Needless to say, then it moved to athletes. And so a lot of high performing athletes, and even in the Olympics in 2004, a lot of the US swimming team were actually wearing this technology because he was helping them
Wow.
to perform better because he was giving them more energy. Fast forward. And then in 2008, he decided that he wanted to focus on stem cell technology, because I do think that the future of medicine is in light therapy and regenerative therapy. Like, what people are trying to figure out what our body can do to actually regenerate itself, to actually fix itself, for lack of a better word, if you want to talk in layman's terms. And that's what this does. So this is called X39, the one that I showed you. That's the name of the technology. And what it does, in my opinion, I think it's acupuncture marries light therapy. And
Wow.
so he was able to capitalize on the fact that we human beings are beams of light. We are actually emitting infrared light all the time. You can't see it because our eyes are not programmed to see that wavelength of light. Like, as I told you, there's different wavelengths of light. You can think about whenever you were in science class and you grabbed like a flashlight into a prism, and the prism created a rainbow. So every color in the rainbow, it's a different wavelength of light. And your eyes are programmed to see certain wavelengths. We can't see infrared light. But if you put on night goggles, like the ones that like the police use or hunters and everything's dark, and a human or actually a mammal, because all mammals do this, if you move, you can see like a red shadow. So that's that infrared light that we are constantly emitting. And so the idea behind this technology is that patch, the circle that I showed you, those are little nanocrystals. There's no medicine that goes into your body. So it's 100%
Wow.
natural, which is why I love this technology. Because although peptides are a big thing, and yes, do I think that there is some good into that? Maybe, but we don't know what the side effects are because you're actually
You never know.
injecting
You never know
something.
until a long time. Now it's
Correct.
different.
We're
This
not
is
going to
completely
know.
different. You're not introducing nothing to your body, even though it's not a supplement or whatever. That's very interesting. It's just light, and light
It's
makes
light.
sense. You're waking up everything inside of you.
So how it works again, those little crystals are against your skin. You are emitting this infrared light, and those crystals act kind of like a mirror. So if you can think about it, and I know it sounds like science fiction and crazy, and that's what I said at first, but I have been using this technology for a little over 2.5 years with myself, my family, my patients, and I can tell you that the testimonies and the changes that I'm seeing are incredible. You emit your light, it bounces off of those crystals, and then, for lack of a better term, you inject your own sim light back into your body. So you're able to
Wow.
use phototherapy using your body as the source of light. So you don't need the sun, you don't need an external lamp like a UV, red light therapy, or like the light that I used with the kids that are jaundiced. We are able to use our own energy, our own light during the day to cause a change. And so through the X39, that specific wavelength of light that it emits tells our body to produce a specific peptide that's called GHKCU. It's a copper peptide that we all produce in our body. But we know that first of all, as we age, then we produce less and less of many things because our cells don't work the same way. So we produce less collagen, less estrogen, less hormones, less copper peptide. So if we have a device that it's able to use our own energy to give our body information to produce what it's already producing, but just to sort of work in a better way, then copper peptide, we know that it's known to help with inflammation, to help with detox, to help with activation of stem cells. And so it really does wonders to your body. Now, all of the clinical studies, and I want to make this clear, have been done in adults and in older adults, because the idea of this technology was cell rejuvenation. What can we do for regenerative medicine, to fix the body per se? As we get older, things go wrong and things start to break down. But I have seen, testimonials anecdotally, there's no clinical trials on children, and this is not marketed to be used by children at all by the company.
But
But it
I
is,
know where you're getting to the point. They have used it for kids and it's working.
yes, they're using it for kids. It is up to the parents, just like any other alternative medicine that's out there. Most alternative medicine doesn't have any studies in children because it is very hard to do ethically, and not very many parents are going to put their child up for a study if they don't really know what it's going to be. In my opinion, knowing how this technology works and knowing that there's nothing going into your body, then there's no risk,
Tell
no
me, tell me, tell
downside
me
to it.
as a story that you could probably say, "Hey, I heard this. I saw this, and I saw this case." I mean, tell me a story, a quick story there that you probably saw that this thing was working.
I think the first story and the best story is the story of Brian. So like I said, I started using this technology because I heard about reverse aging. I am very much into regenerative medicine. I am very much into taking care of myself, eating healthy, exercising. But my mom was having a lot of issues with arthritis, so I started it with her. And then I had somebody reach out to me via social media when they saw that I was using this with my family. She lives in Houston. I didn't know her. She said, "Hey, I have a 25-year-old severely autistic child. who is very aggressive, who has, for the last 3 years, has gotten worse, got diagnosed with other psychiatric diseases. It's not sleeping, it's not eating. He was so aggressive, the mom said she had to sleep in her car because she was scared. She was a single mom. And she said, I've heard about this years ago. I just wasn't sure. And then I heard an interview and I decided to try it. What do you think? And honestly, the first thing out of my mouth was, wow, that sounds really complicated. There's a lot of
Yeah.
diagnosis there. And I am not sure. I mean, I'm very transparent. I'm not here to promote a cure for anything. I'm not here to say this is going to work for your child because I don't know. We are all human beings. We all react differently. I can tell you that I don't think it's going to cause any harm because there's nothing going into your body. So I told this lady exactly that. I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I had only been using this technology for about 6 months. And she said, well, I don't care. I want to try it. If it's not going to hurt him, I just want to try it. And I was like, I would love for you to try it because I want to see myself. It was kind of like my own clinical trial. And I'm telling you, within a month to a month and a half, he was a complete different person. He started
Wow.
bathing himself. He started sleeping first during the day, and then he started sleeping at night, 8 hours. He was not aggressive anymore. I had to go meet him because I couldn't. She was sending me videos, and I was like, no, I have to see it with my own eyes. So I drove to their house. They live about an hour and 30 minutes away from my house and met him. He, was very responsive to me. Is he still autistic? Yes, absolutely. We did not
Of
cure
course.
anything. But the mom said, you brought my baby back. Like he is now not aggressive. He's eating with me. He is connected. She talks to him and he responds. Is he still having some crisis every once in a while? Absolutely. Does he get stuck in certain words? She sent me the other day a beautiful video of him singing a song that she was teaching him. He's remembering things from the past. Like the other day, she sent me a video too. He was going, my name is Brian. And he was going, Brian Samuel. And then she's like, and what's your last name? And he's like thinking and thinking. And eventually he remembers his last name. So it's like those connections are coming back. He's been on this therapy for a year now. And we have seen
Wow.
a progression of him sort of getting better. So before you ask me, and before we finish this, the first question everyone always asks is, this is something that I need to take forever. Okay, everyone, that's the first question people always ask. And I don't know. I don't know because this is, in my opinion, sort of fairly new. It's new to me, although it's been around for 21 years. But as far as like neurodiverse situation, it's very new. I can tell you what I'm taking it for, which is for wellness and which is for longevity. I will be wearing this. I tell people you're going to bury me with this technology on unless something new comes up, which I'm sure within the next 10 years, something better and newer and whatever is going to come. But
I
because
mean,
I,
it's this is easy. I feel it's a way of explaining this. It's easy. You need to de-inflammate the body. You need to take away inflammation of your body. If you take away the charge of inflammation, whatever it is that you do, you can have natural products. You can have anything that will help you out, take some of that inflammation. You'll have a better quality of life. That's not only for autistic kids, that's for everyone in general. Nowadays,
absolutely,
everybody's got back problems. Everybody's got nervous problems, and you need to take away, that's everything that we eat, is everything that we drink, and we need to take away that inflammation. And if this product takes away some inflammation, you're not going to cure nothing, but you're going to have a better quality of life. That's the way I see it. And we need to
absolutely.
keep our eyes open to technology because it is there. It's true. It's happening.
It's happening. And the best way that I explain it when people ask me if I need to take it all the time, I talk about vitamins. People take vitamins every single day because they are told that their body's going to work better if they take vitamin D or if they take magnesium, or if they take whatever. And they don't even think about it twice because it's really easy to think about putting a pill or drinking something because that's what we're used to. But again, what you said, you need to think about technology and things are changing. And so this is something very different. Um, but it does the same thing as a vitamin, meaning it gives your body the information so the body creates its own vitamin, its own peptide, whatever it is that the body needs to work better. So if you stop taking vitamin D, if you stop taking magnesium, what's going to happen? Nothing. You're not going to die. Your body's not going to break up, but eventually your body, it's going to eat up whatever vitamin D was left, and then you're going to become vitamin D deficient again. So this is the same thing. Nothing horrible is going to happen if you stop the therapy, but eventually your body will go back to sort of where it was because it's going to be deficient on this peptide. So it's the
Where
same
can
thing as vitamins.
where can people find you, Doc? In your Instagram?
Yes, you can find me probably on Instagram, which is Dr. like doctor, period, Kathrym. I know it's with an M. It's really complicated. Kathrym, España. And you can ask questions in there. I know that they can ask you any questions. If you guys put comments on this podcast, I know Julio is here and he's always very, very attentive because his passion is about educating parents of neurodivergent kids. So if you have questions, you can put them on this podcast. He will absolutely get back with you. And I know recently him and his family started using this technology as well. So he would love to share more information with you guys on what is doing. And I want to end with, they sell this on Amazon. They sell this on eBay. Those are all platforms where people resell things. And so not only this patch, but in my opinion, any supplements in general should never be bought on resale places like Amazon or eBay. You should always go directly to the company. So for example, there's a supplement company called Pure, and they're great supplements and they are sold on Amazon, but you don't know if what you're getting from Amazon is actually that supplement. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of fakes. So I'd rather you go to the website, pure.com, and buy it there. So with this, it's the same thing. I rather you go directly to a distributor and talk to them. You can ask me questions. You can put information here, and we can send you a link or something to go directly to the company, and that way you're getting the original product.
And I want to have more information about that. Talking about information, Doc, I wanted to share with you my book. This book is who brought me into the story of autism. This book is a book that we wrote telling our story about Toñito, our son, and the way he changed. We could change with food. So I'm sharing it with you as an Amazon. This one you need to buy an Amazon.
Yes, that's
Aunque
okay
solo que en
because there's
silencio no
nothing that
puedo
you're
callar.
eating.
I'm
And
just
you have
kidding
it
with
in
you.
English too, right?
Yes, yeah, we're translating now. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been such a pleasure meeting you. It's such a pleasure talking with you. I'm really looking at this technology as a great possibility of making changes, and I see what you do on your social media. It's amazing. It's amazing the way you tell the stories of people that are changing lives. I think that every parent that is walking this pathway of neurodiversity, we're looking for answers. We're looking to anything that can help our kids. And thanks to you, thanks to your time, thanks to this Patch X39, I'm hoping to hear very good things from parents very soon.
Absolutely. We're here to help. And to me, the most important thing is education. Make sure that you're educated, make sure that you understand what's going on with your child. And so if you don't have a health provider that is spending the time, and when you ask a question, they just sort of dismiss it, then please find someone that will listen to you. I tell people that all the time. There are options. I know it's hard sometimes to find someone, but keep looking because you're the best advocate for your child. And you need to make sure that you find someone who's going to listen to you, because parents know what's going on and the doctor should always listen to the parents.
Thank you so much, Doctora. Have a
You're
great day.
welcome.
Thank you.